surgical strike by the Indian Army. Some political parties ask for proof. This is very, very unfortunate part.
The recent attacks, it seems it's building up to a war-like, and I hope all the governments, be it Pakistan, be it Indian government, be it China, they come to some kind of an arrangement, settlement, understanding that at least they can stop this before it escalates any further. We are already at the tip of the volcano.
ये बहुत अफसोस की बात है, बहुत दुखी की बात है कि धर्म का नाम से अगर ये ऐसा हिंसा करेंगे तो हमारा बहुत दुख होता है कि धर्म में अहिंसा का ये मेनली अहिंसा को प्रीचिंग करते हैं.
Burhan Wani was a terrorist who used to carry arms, who used to incite violence among people. He used to ask people to take to arms to kill the army. So Burhan Wani was declared a terrorist, somebody whose motto of life was to kill people.
हमारे परिवार वालों ने और मेरे माता पिता ने उनको फौज में जाने की ही चुनौती दी और फौज को ही उन्होंने चुना कि हमको प्राइवेट जॉब में काम नहीं करना है, पैसे से कोई मतलब नहीं है, हमको मातृभूमि की रक्षा करनी है.
Further strikes from either side are going to go into the negative, and the people, the common man, will lose his money on the stock exchanges of either countries.
It hurts me terribly when people lose talk about the army. It hurts me terribly also when I hear about stories of corruption happening in the army, because that's not how the army is meant to be. And if there is any kind of corruption that's happening in the army, it means that somewhere we've let the army down. The URI attack was tragic, but so have all the wars been tragic. Even if you're in the army, I don't think you should want a war. No army person really wants a war. They're there to die, but why would you want to send a whole lot of soldiers and say, hey, die for me because I don't like the way the enemy is talking. I don't like the way, they're behaving. I don't like whatever it is about them. A soldier dies on the border every day. They die fighting. They die because they're there also. And they know that it can happen to them anytime, and they're prepared for it.
So I don't recollect any bad day. Because whatever I did, with my consents or by the orders of my seniors, I took them like a good soldier.
And why just the war? Why just the borders? When the floods came in Srinagar, there was actually a picture of these army jawans lying across a nala with their bodies straight, and people, they'd made a bridge, human bridge, so that people could walk over them with their luggage and their belongings, because they didn't know how to cross. There was a fast flowing nala, so these army jawans had stretched themselves out across the nala like that, and people were crossing or walking over them. They'd made a human bridge. Whenever there's earthquake in Nepal, it's the army that goes, So the army is not just about war and about the border. The army is there for you all the time.
While I was in Nathula, so we were carrying out certain firing, practice firing, and some bombs were misfired. So with one of my senior officers, I was a lieutenant and he was a captain. So we decided to defuse that, though it is not supposed to be done.
Listening to stories of our neighbor, we all grew up. Wars and conflicts, Kashmir and LOC. Tension and tenseness between the two countries have seen a lot of ups and downs over past 60 years. We have been facing attacks from across the border since Pakistan was declared an independent nation on 14th August 1947. Every time they initiated the war, and every single time, they were defeated to death by our Indian army. Be it Kargil, Balochistan, or Indo-Pak War. The recent is the URI attack, which was not only condemned by India, but the whole world.
What is happening today, it disturbs me first as an Indian, as a Indian citizen, and of course as an individual, as a journalist. And what is happening in our borders is terrible. It's been happening for a long time.
French और German पिछले 600 साल से फ्रेंच जर्मन लड़ते रहता था. उसका हिस्ट्री में फ्रेंच जर्मन का ये इतना कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, इतना संघर्ष, इतना लड़ाई होते रहता था. तो महायुद्ध के बाद में फ्रेंच जर्मन का बीच में जो मार्जिनो लाइन है, वहाँ पर ये एक बॉर्डर है. वहाँ पर ये 20 लाख ये यंग जनरेशन, ये प्रतिनिधि जर्मन से और फ्रेंच से आके बॉर्डर पर ये डिस्कशन करने का शुरू किया. हम लोगों ने क्यों इतिहास में हम लोगों ने इतना क्यों लड़ना पड़ा, थोड़ा बात करके ये वो लोगों ने यंग जनरेशन ने ये आमने सामने में ये डिस्कशन किया. तो आप लोग अभी देखा ये जर्मन फ्रेंच का रिश्ता बहुत अच्छे है. और ये जो पड़ोसी देश से लड़ाई नहीं होता है तो सबसे पैदा ये आम जनता नेशनलिटी ने सबसे पैदा उठाता है. और ये लड़ाई नहीं होता है, सबसे इसका फायदा ये है कि व्यापार बढ़ता है.
भारत पाकिस्तान की सीमा पर बहुत ही जोरदार तनाव बढ़ा हुआ है. तो उसके लिए मेरे भाई नीम सिंह ने भी उनके प्राण की आहुति दे दी. और हम पीछे भी 3 भाई हैं और हमारे बच्चे हैं जो 25-25 साल के हैं. कम से कम हम 7-8 मेंबर हैं. तो मातृभूमि की इस बढ़ते तनाव को देखकर हम उनकी रक्षा के लिए फौज में जाने के लिए आज भी तैयार हैं. और अपना चाहे हमारा भी वहाँ पर शहीद हो जाए मगर पीछे नहीं हटेंगे.
Having served in the Indian Army, it has been a great feeling. When I joined, I was a youngster, and possibly my father was in the army, my elder brother was in the army, so I had seen that environment. So for me to get into that system and fold for my future life was not very difficult. I was part of National Cadet Corps in the college, so there I was under officer, whatever you call it. So it was not very difficult. I had already done some kind of training. So my changeover from a civil student to the army life was very, very simple and very, very fruitful.
My mother was an incredible army officer's wife. She stayed at the age of 26 when she had all 3 of us kids, alone with one ayah in a place called Kanjarapada, waiting for my father to come back from there were only 2 kids. The third one was just born. My brother was born in 65. And a few months later, my father was coming back from the Pakistan war. And the unit was going to be camped at one place where the families were allowed to come and meet them. So she actually traveled alone with 3 children, all babies, and one ayah, and maybe one orderly, to a place called Kanjarapada, which was in the wilderness, somewhere near Calcutta. And at night, for 2 miles around, there was nothing. There was one bungalow here, one there. And this 26-year young woman with 3 children waits to meet her husband, living for 3-4 days in this wilderness, in this strange place.
भाई नीम सिंह वैसे एक ही आदमी हमारे परिवार में से कमाने वाले सदस्य तो वो एक ही थे. हम तो यहाँ पर छोटा मोटा खेती का काम करते हैं और हमारा गुजारा चलाते हैं. फिलहाल कमाने वाले तो वो एक ही सदस्य थे.
Life itself is one big unsolved psychological sum for us. We often say our life is hell, but just imagine what thoughts and mental problems a soldier goes through while serving his nation.
PTSD is now being termed under DSM, which is the Diagnostic Statistical Manual for all mental disorders. It is one of the primary mental disorders that a person may face if the person has experienced any traumatic event in his or her life. Now, generally, one outcome of PTSD would be depression. and that could be as severe as that the person needs to be put on medical treatment.
Operations and war, one cannot say there is no stress, but those stresses are manageable. When you say stress, in today's world, stress revolves every day-to-day work. Stress of work, people those who are married, stress of the family, those who are not even married, still they have family back home. So stress remains there, always, every time. The only thing is how you manage to control that stress.
Combat stress is a short term, it is a stress that you feel when you are at war. If I had to define stress, any demand made from a person which is more than his capacity to give is considered as stress. So when you are at war, which is combat war, you are on your feet, you are probably hungry, you've not slept, so the demand from your body psychologically and physiologically is great. But it does not always result in PTSD.
The best part of Indians' defense services, particularly the army, where people go to the battlefield by their own foot, either by that or by the tank or mechanized vehicles. So the training itself is so important that a soldier, when I say soldier, I include officers, JSU, other rank. That is the way the Indian Army works. The soldiers, when they have to go to the battlefield, not that there is no fear of unknown is always there. But the difference between a person who's soldiering as a profession, the difference is that he's been trained so well. He's trained so well that when he goes to the battlefield, possibly, apparently there is no stress in his mind. He goes and performs the job. Whatever task has been given, the training makes him so expert that he follows the instruction given to him by superior officers.
When a country prepares for war, all its resources are divided and sent to different segments. Even taxes rise and are collected by the government. This collected money is saved in accounts for different sectors like food and medicine. Even after war, taxes don't go down, whether the situation is resolved or not. The citizens find it difficult due to rise in prices when they cannot save money. That's the period of inflation that comes in.
There are some special measures taken as far as Kashmir is concerned. For example, Armed Forces Special Power Act is applicable in the Kashmir Valley, in J&K, for the simple reason that in these disturbed areas, if armed forces are not given these special powers, they'll be quite handicapped if we just keep applying the usual traditional legal system or the laws of the land.
Pakistan depends on China for a lot of things. Pakistan depends on India, Pakistan depends on the US for money. Pakistan depends on a lot of countries because Pakistan's economy is in a very bad shape. Pakistan's government is in a bad shape. Pakistan's democracy is in a bad shape. Pakistan is in bad shape. So Pakistan doesn't have a lot of money to buy arms. They need money, they need loans, they need support. So I believe that the US support for Pakistan is dwindling because Pakistan is being increased. The government of Pakistan, they're understanding that if terrorists are, typically after the Bin Laden incident, when Bin Laden was caught dead from Abbottabad in Pakistan, he was hiding there for years. People have realized that Pakistan is a den for terrorists.
Kashmir is not the valley alone. Kashmir is geographically comprised of Jammu region, Ladakh region, and if you also include the POK part, which is being occupied by Pakistan, and also the Aksai Chin part, which is being occupied by China, all inclusive, that becomes Jammu and Kashmir.
There has been no popular movement as such which claims that Kashmir should be independent. There are a few people who doesn't want to stay in India and they are saying कि हम लोग नहीं रहना चाहते तो सब लोगों को लेके हम लोग कहीं और जाना चाहते हैं, हम लोग पाकिस्तान में रहना चाहते हैं, जो भी हो. This is not the view of a general Kashmiri. Kashmiris, they want to stay in India. Few people, they don't want to.
The day of the surgical strike, it's not only in India where the stock exchange reacted, it is also across the border in Pakistan where there were implications of this LOC battle. Because in the Pakistan stock exchange, the stock market reacted and fell about 2% down. So basically it is very, very clear that it may be in any country.
After 10 days of attack on URI came the surgical strikes with bash of complete force. No proofs were shown by the Indian Army force to avoid controversial talks. This was exactly what America had done during Osama bin Laden's bloodshed. The army made sure to go across the border, fire back and answer and return home safely.
Indian Army is apolitical. When I say apolitical means they have no affiliation with any political party. The only thing is any political party which is the governing or the government is formed by that party, they obey orders given by them through the various understandings. And this surgical strike, when you ask somebody a question, this is very unfortunate. Why? Because maybe those parties are trying to play with their vote bank. Otherwise, there is nothing. And I'm sorry to say, our political leaders will not even know the difference. Even if they have told, this is what we have done. Many political parties, their leaders don't know difference between a gun A, gun B, gun C, gun D. They will not understand, but these are highly specialized operations. And those who are involved in this, they only know it. And for the national security and the interest of a nation, this is never made public.
I just have a lot of love for the army. I have a huge amount of love for the army, for army people. I have a huge soft spot, it's like if somebody says I'm from the army, it's like, okay, everything in me just starts welling up and flowing out, so that's how I feel about the army.
कि भारत का जो आम जनता है उसके अंदर में जो पूरे मोहब्बत है, कौमी एकता अखंडता का जो भावना है, ये जरूर दुनिया को ये दिखाएंगे. और ये हिंसा की दुनिया में भारत ने अहिंसा का रूप में दुनिया को उसका प्रयास करेंगे.
We are quite proud of our armed forces. They are doing exemplary job over there.
The entire country should come together and support the army. The Indian Army or army anywhere in the world, every country has to respect its army, look up to the army. And Indian Army has done a commendable job for the decades, for so many years post-independence. And our army is one of the finest armies in terms of integrity and passion. And I think we should all support the army.
Jai Hind, Jai Jawan, Jai Bharat.